Trump just shut down the EV agenda and Tesla's nightmare begins.
One, I will terminate Crooked Joe's ridiculous electric vehicle mandate.
You're not going to hear this on CNN. In fact, you probably won't hear it on Fox News either. But it just happened. Donald Trump, in one of the boldest moves of his political return, has slammed the brakes on the electric vehicle agenda. And the fallout? It's hitting Tesla harder than anyone expected. This isn't just a policy shift, it's a cultural war on wheels. And Tesla, they're about to find out what happens when the rules of the road are rewritten by someone who doesn't play by the rules. Donald Trump has officially declared war on the EV agenda. The moment he stepped back into the Oval Office, he made it crystal clear. The era of government-forced electric cars is over. Gone was the aggressive push for 50% EV sales by 2030. Cancelled were billions in federal funding for EV charging stations. And just like that, the green dream was off life support. Trump called it a return to common sense. His team labeled it automotive freedom. But to Tesla and the entire EV industry, it felt more like a thunderclap. For years, Americans have been told that going electric isn't a choice, it's the future. But what happens when the future gets unplugged? Let's rewind for a second. This fight didn't start in 2025. It's been brewing for over a decade. From Obama's fuel economy standards to Biden's massive climate packages, the federal government had been all in on pushing EVs. The media cheered, Wall Street cheered, and for a while, even consumers seemed to go along with it. But then the cracks started to show. Range anxiety, charging headaches, battery fires, and slowly Americans started to question whether the electric future was really worth it. Trump saw that frustration. He campaigned against what he called green tyranny. He promised to dismantle the EV mandates. He vowed to protect gas-powered cars. And when he took office again, he kept his promise. Within the first week, he tore up Biden's executive orders. The 2030 electric vehicle goal? Gone. EV tax credits slashed. Funds for 500,000 charging stations? Frozen indefinitely. But it wasn't just those headlines. Trump also directed the EPA to review and roll back emission standards that disproportionately penalized gas-powered vehicles. He ordered the Department of Energy to prioritize domestic oil production infrastructure over electric alternatives. And perhaps most significantly, he vowed to block any new federal EV subsidies, calling them bribes for billionaires and punishments for the middle class. In a fiery press conference, Trump declared, "We're not going to spend American taxpayer money forcing people into overpriced cars they don't want, can't afford, and can't even charge in a snowstorm." The message was unmistakable. The government would no longer be Tesla's co-pilot. Trump's administration framed it as a return to consumer choice, saying, "Americans can choose gas, diesel, hybrid, or electric, but they won't be coerced." Blue states like California responded swiftly, vowing to sue the administration over federal overreach and pledging to push ahead with their own aggressive EV mandates. But the power dynamic had shifted. The federal gravy train had stopped. And with it, Tesla's golden runway might be coming to an end. The response was explosive. Environmental groups panicked, Tesla stock dipped. But in truck stops, garages, and middle America, the move was celebrated like a Super Bowl win. And here's where it gets interesting. Because just as Trump was rolling back the EV agenda, Tesla was already in trouble. In Europe, Tesla's sales have plummeted. In Germany, France, and Sweden, numbers are down more than 70% year over year. That's not a soft patch, that's a free fall. Meanwhile, Chinese automaker BYD is steamrolling the global market with cheaper, more efficient EVs that don't come with the Musk-sized drama. But BYD isn't alone. Around the world, countries are quietly reconsidering the EV obsession. In India, the government has scaled back ambitious EV targets in favor of hybrid solutions. In Australia, regional governments have started reintroducing fuel incentives and walking back hardline EV-only roadmaps. And in Brazil, where long-distance driving and unreliable power grids are the norm, EV adoption has stalled altogether, with many carmakers now pivoting back to flex-fuel engines that better suit the local infrastructure. Even in parts of Europe, the green agenda is being met with resistance. Germany has faced backlash from its own automakers and labor unions over rushed EV timelines. And in the UK, officials have delayed the ICE vehicle ban and are pouring new resources into hybrid and clean diesel technologies. What was once a synchronized global push toward full electrification is now unraveling into a patchwork of regional solutions. Tesla, once poised to ride that global wave, now finds itself in unfamiliar waters, forced to compete not only with domestic EV upstarts and legacy brands, but also with a growing international sentiment that electric vehicles aren't the universal solution they were sold as. Back in the US, Tesla customers are growing restless. Complaints about build quality, service delays, and battery performance are flooding forums. The Cybertruck, once hyped as the future of trucks, is still crawling toward a full rollout. And the ones that do hit the road? Buggy software, misaligned panels, and questions about durability. Then there's the Elon factor. Elon Musk, once a darling of tech and media, has become a lightning rod. His takeover of Twitter, political outbursts, and increasingly erratic public behavior have alienated huge swaths of potential buyers. In Europe, labor unions are organizing boycotts against Tesla. In France, protesters have vandalized Tesla showrooms. Elon's brand is becoming polarizing. And for a company like Tesla that lives and dies by public image, that's dangerous territory. Financially, things are getting tense. Tesla's stock is down more than 30% this year. A steep drop for a company once crowned the king of innovation. Wall Street analysts are starting to lose faith. Major institutions that once bet big on Tesla, like ARK Invest and some tech-heavy mutual funds, have begun quietly unloading shares. Earnings calls have grown tense, with Elon dodging tough questions and pushing futuristic visions instead of addressing the cracks in Tesla's core business. On the retail investor side, the story isn't much better. Reddit forums that once hyped Tesla as the ultimate long-term play are now full of regret posts, resale panic, and speculation about how far the stock will fall. Many Tesla fans are feeling betrayed, not just by the stock's performance, but by what they see as Musk's growing disconnect from the company's original mission. Layoffs started trickling in. Tesla recently announced cuts in its California engineering teams and reportedly froze hiring across several divisions. Some suppliers are even reporting delays in payments, a red flag for any manufacturer. Meanwhile, key product deadlines continue to slip. Full self-driving, once promised to be feature-complete years ago, is still in beta, still controversial, and still under investigation for multiple safety concerns. The narrative has shifted from untouchable innovator to over-leveraged tech company with car problems. And all of this is happening while competitors are stepping up in a big way. Ford's F-150 Lightning is winning over truck buyers. BMW and Volkswagen are flooding the market with EVs that have real interiors, working buttons, and fewer bugs. Toyota, always the tortoise in the race, is dominating the hybrid space with models that actually meet expectations. Even newcomers like Rivian and Lucid are getting in on the action, offering products that feel fresh and well-built, without the drama. So where does that leave Tesla? Stuck in the middle, caught between a government that no longer supports its rise and a marketplace that's no longer wowed by the brand. And let's not forget the average American driver. The guy with a used Silverado, the mom with a 3-row SUV. These are people who've been told for years that their vehicles are killing the planet, and they're sick of it. They see EVs as expensive, impractical, and political. And now, for the first time in years, they feel like someone in power is finally listening. Trump's rollback didn't just change federal policy, it changed the conversation. Suddenly, it's okay to want a gas car again. Suddenly, choosing a V8 over a charging cable isn't seen as ignorance, it's seen as independence. YouTube channels are blowing up with content on restoring classic trucks, modifying muscle cars, and pushing back against the EV narrative. Social media is full of viral clips roasting EVs stuck in snowbanks, Teslas waiting in mile-long charging lines, and electric police cruisers running out of juice during chases. It's not just a policy reversal, it's a cultural moment. Car culture is back, loud, proud, unapologetic. It's not just in attitude, it's in action. Look at the rise of YouTube channels like Vice Grip Garage and Street Speed 717, where wrench-turning, engine-revving DIY builds are racking up millions of views. These aren't tech billionaires showing off silent sedans. They're regular guys rebuilding 1970s muscle and talking horsepower. That kind of content is connecting because it reflects what many Americans are really passionate about. Even major automotive events are shifting gears. The resurgence of car meets, drag strips, and classic restoration expos are signaling that ICE, internal combustion engines, aren't just surviving the EV wave, they're thriving underneath it. Online memes mocking electric vehicles are spreading faster than Tesla's delivery times. From jokes about EVs freezing in the winter to side-by-side comparisons of charging versus fueling times, the internet is turning the tables on the once cool, eco-friendly image EVs held. There's even growing political identity attached to car choice. A Dodge Challenger isn't just a car, it's a statement. A lifted diesel truck isn't just transportation, it's defiance. The cultural pushback isn't subtle, and it's not going away. In fact, the harder elites push electric mandates, the stronger the backlash becomes. This movement isn't anti-future, it's anti-force. And that's the difference politicians are finally starting to understand. And Tesla, they're struggling to keep up. Service centers are overwhelmed, used Tesla prices are tanking, and many owners are asking a tough question: was this all hype? The problem isn't just that Trump killed the EV agenda. The problem is that Tesla wasn't ready to survive without it. For years, they thrived on incentives, media hype, and a lack of competition. But now the competition is here, the hype is fading, and the incentives? They're vanishing by executive order. What we're seeing isn't just a political shift, it's the end of the EV honeymoon. It's the beginning of a new era, where automakers have to prove their value the old-fashioned way, through performance, reliability, and real customer satisfaction. And there's another undercurrent here, one that the mainstream media doesn't want to talk about. A growing distrust of top-down Silicon Valley-led solutions to working-class problems. For many Americans, Tesla represents the elite, the coastal tech empire, the people who think they know what's best for flyover country. That resentment is starting to show up at the dealership. People aren't just rejecting the EV. They're rejecting what it represents: government control, software glitches, and billionaire preaching from private jets. Elon Musk still has cards to play, including autonomous driving, energy storage, and maybe even robots. But as far as cars go, Tesla is on the back foot. And unless they adapt quickly, this could be the start of a long, loud decline. So what do you think? Did Trump just save gas-powered freedom? Is Tesla too far gone? Or is this just another twist in an already wild ride? Leave a comment, hit subscribe, and stay tuned. Because at Green Car Buzz, we're just getting warmed up, where the engines are loud and the truth is louder.